Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good. Today, I was just speaking about this guy on the podcast, maybe last week or the week before, because I think there are some really unique voices out there. And I was talking about this concept of going on TikTok or Instagram, and I see the same thing again and again and again. And it's just the same information posted. But what I'm looking for, and I think a lot of us are looking for, somebody that has a take on the things that we all see, somebody that has an opinion, has a voice. And I really believe in this man's voice. And I think I know this sounds gushing, but I think he is the future in a lot of ways in these shows that we cover. And so I'm so happy to have him back. You know him and love him from TikTok at Josh the Roni Stan. He's on Instagram as well. But we have the one and only Josh Banfield back with us today. Josh, how are you?
I am great. I am so excited to be back on the pod. This was
I know.
the best Tuesday I've had in a while.
I was gonna say, I asked him, did you watch The Valley tonight? And he said no. He has to be in a very certain mindset to watch The Valley. Can you explain to the audience what that mindset is?
Well, I kind of had to pause on a lot of shows when Love Island was happening just because it took over my entire life. And The Valley was the first one that I got rid of because it was just kind of ruining my life in a way. Like, it's so heavy and so unfortunate. And I think that, I don't know, I like to be contrarian in some ways. So I was trying to defend Janet at the beginning of the season, and then she made it really hard. And then I was like, who am I even rooting for here other than Kristen, obviously? Denny and Nia, I guess, too. But I don't know. I was kind of confused by some of the public's reaction to that situation as well. I don't know if we want to get into it, but
no, we'll get into all and any of it. But, I'm just excited to have you here. But I think that's interesting what you said, and it kind of lines up with certain things that I've said about The Valley is that I find it, and I would exclude Dodie from this in a sense and some other storylines in a sense, but it's one of the first shows that I have truly thought there is nobody aspirational on the show. There is no, and even with Dodie, think about it. I always try to remind the audience is that Dodie was not universally loved during her run on Vanderpump Rules. So it's very interesting to see people come around actually it's interesting to watch somebody grow or we're perceived as watching her grow and have a child and a healthy relationship. But we know, and with reality shows, that could all go out the window next season.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm loving the Kristen Doty renaissance, but yeah, who knows how long she'll keep I think actually, for some reason, it does feel like the fans have a loyalty to her that's not going to be easy to get rid of, but I don't necessarily know where that comes from because a lot of the time with the women on the shows, that is not the case at all. But good for her.
Yeah. I mean, no, great for her. I love Dodie, but I was trying to think Janet, we've only seen on the screen for 2 seasons, and she didn't have the benefit of coming from Vanderpump Rules, even though she was in that universe through Sheena. Which I want to talk to you about Sheena's clothing collaboration with Shein that was announced yesterday as well. But do you think, I was just reality shows are so weird that if The Valley, and I don't think it will, if it lasts 7 or 8 seasons, will people eventually come around on Janet? Will they see another side? And I know we're about to start filming in a couple of weeks, and I do wonder mentally how these reality stars prep themselves when they are, not universally disliked, but very disliked. Does it affect how they go into a season?
I think for her, I'm sure it does. I mean, it's so, and I get it. I'm not on her side in a lot of what's happened this season, but it just feels with her specifically, it's just so harsh, the reaction that she gets from people online. And it's not justified, but still, that has to be difficult for her to go through. And I don't know if this is the same for you, but everything that I hear about her as a human, outside of the show, is that she's very nice. Yeah. So I don't know what it is about.
It's hard to cover the show because I knew Janet a little bit outside of The Valley. And I mean, listen, it wasn't some deep relationship where we were swapping secrets, but she was always very nice, very funny. I mean, she loves reality shows, which I think is a knock on her for a lot of people. But I'm talking 90 Day Fiancé. I'm talking Love on the Spectrum. So that side of Janet, I really, really like. But when I watch her on the show, and I'm not blaming the edit entirely, but it is interesting how these shows will bring out a certain facet of your personality. And I mean, do you ever wonder, I think you're smart enough to never go on reality TV, but who knows what aspect of your personality would they find that you'd be like, oh my God, I didn't even see that coming?
Yeah, well, it's kind of easy for me to tell because Bravo loves the like evil gay stereotype. So I feel like that's the direction it would go for me. But
I also think about that too, is like if you're filming something and the producers are like, it's great, but they know they're forcing you into some sort of stereotype. I mean, I remember having like real jobs where I would try to do anything that my boss said. So do you lean into a certain persona that you might be uncomfortable with, but they say that's work? I wonder how much of that plays into it, because I just read Sheena's book, and I believe you read it as well. And I thought it was very interesting in how the behind the scenes of how even Sheena was treated. Like they brought her down to like not even a full-time cast member for 2 seasons, even though she had started the show. There was many conversations, or even not fully. I mean, like the season 9 finale, she said they had to really bring it. And so she got together with the girls and they sort of staged a fight of some, and she didn't say production was involved in that, but they were. I wonder how much. It's got to be a lot how much they think about behind the scenes of how they're perceived by production and the audience.
No, definitely. And I think, I mean, it's hard with the Sheena book. I did think it was interesting. Yeah. How she talks about like, she's like a people pleaser and like teacher's pet vibes. And like, yeah, she wanted to do what the show wanted her to do. And it's like, okay, how much of that is like her trying to justify her behavior and how much of that is real? But yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest job. I do have some level of sympathy for them. And just because I mentioned the evil gay stereotype, I want to give Zach credit for the fact that this season he has been able to avoid, because Bravo loves to, or I don't want to say Bravo specifically, reality TV loves to go with this. Yeah, the gay person is evil. They gossip all the time. They say horrible things. It was with Steven on Summer House as well. But Zach really has come out of this season as a fan favorite in a way that I don't think the show even necessarily expected him to. And that has been nice to see.
I really enjoy that about these seasons, is when you realize you're watching something, the audience's reaction, that I don't think production counted for. I always talk about that concept where you can win the scene, but you might lose the audience. And I see that happening like on Beverly Hills, like when Rinna would gang up with Erica Jane. Like you can feel like you're winning the scene, and then the audience will grab onto it and they'll see something completely different and they'll go for the underdog. I feel like Shannon survived last season based on the audience's reaction to what she was being put through. And I find that interesting as well, is that you never know how the audience is going to take it. And in fact, I think production, we're probably really on the fence even about letting Jax go, even though he was doing horrific shit.
Yes, I'm so glad that was the choice that was made, though. That was literally such a relief. I was sitting in, I think, the Charleston airport when that news came out, and I was like running around, like doing like Amaya zoomies from Love Island. I was like, yes, the evil has been defeated.
Well, I mean, defeated for the time being. I mean, they did leave it a little open-ended. And I will say this is when I realize I have a sickness, because then I sit around and go like, well, how's this guy going to make money now? Like he's stepping away from everything that he's stepping away in quotation marks from everything that he loves, or says he loves. And I mean, and that's not our concern as an audience. We shouldn't be concerned with how they put food on the table. And at the same time, I don't want to be worried that, oh my God, he's going to come after Britney for all her money.
Yeah, I did see a lot of people saying that they're scared of what kind of retaliation will come from it. But ultimately, I mean, it was just literally a liability for the network at this point to be employing him. So I don't really feel like they had a choice.
Yeah, and I think James Kennedy really paved the way, even though, he wasn't filming at the time. I think they were really planning on using James Kennedy. And I think he might have been a part of the Vanderpump Rules reboot that we're going to see in a couple of months. And I think that kind of ended things, and who knows what the future holds. But I think if that's how we should view any kind of DV situation or any kind of violence, whether it be man or woman, I feel like that's a real clear line. And I'm even confused on the reunion. I still, it's been a week and I'm like, they talk about pushing Britney into the rose bushes. How is everybody on that? I don't even mean Andy, all the cast members. How are they not staging a walkout going, it's like, that's the part where I don't get, even in tonight's, which you haven't seen yet, Jason comes at Danny and I'm like, turn around to your best friend, Jax. Like, where's the outrage?
Yeah, no, I've been surprised by Jason recently on the show.
And I really like Jay. I mean, I always thought, oh, this is a level-headed guy. But he plays devil's advocate. He plays the lawyer a lot, where I'm like, you're standing up for Jesse Lally, you're standing up for Jax, you're standing up for your wife, obviously. But do you ever wonder, and maybe since, you are very successful, or you're getting more and more successful, and you're building this thing you never planned on building, when you are starting to hear from cast members or hearing things behind the scenes, are you hearing things that surprise you? Does it ruin the overall experience of enjoying these shows to begin with?
No, I love all of it.
You were just hanging out with the Southern Hospitality cast, weren't you, in Charleston?
They're in full swing filming, and it looks like it's going to be very juicy. Yes.
Will we see you on Southern Hospitality as the evil gay?
I won't be the evil gay, but I might be a little gay in the background, maybe.
Did you see my buddy Michael Beck, one of the producers?
Not clear. I saw a lot of producers.
Oh, I wanted you to go say hi. He's one of the producers. He's such a good guy, and he's one of the producers on that show. But I think they've got something magic, and that's like I sound like a banker here, but like investing in shows like Hospitality and NextGen NYC, even if we don't want to, we've got to invest in these shows.
Yes. No, I'm so relieved that they didn't, because honestly, I mean, I can be honest about my opinion. Like, I thought the first 2 seasons of Hospitality were quite below average, but I'm really glad that they stuck with it.
In the second season, started building in the second
season. It started having potential, yeah, but I think still it didn't really hit until this last season. And yeah, you can't cancel a show after the first season, even if it's not amazing. You have to wait and see what happens.
I feel the same thing with Housewives. I feel like everybody should be signed to a 2-year contract. So that way, even the audience shuts up of like, she's not going to get asked back. She's not going to get asked back. Like because I feel like you're not going to get to know somebody of any worth in one season, period.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I always, even when I don't like a 1-season housewife, I feel a little bit sad for them. And I mean, there's some that I didn't, for the most part.
Well, okay. So one thing that I think, it made us very happy. And I've seen like some light rumbling of people trying to ruin this, but I am still ecstatic, was that last night on Watch What Happens Live, Carol Radziwill was a mystery guest when Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers were the guests. And I got to tell you, Josh, I was watching that from my bed, and Rebecca and we did not expect it. We didn't see it coming. And I thought it was going to be Dorinda or somebody. And she came out, and I got to tell you, it was like a shot of serotonin. I was so happy. And you felt the same, right?
I did. I needed that so badly. It like changed the trajectory of my life, I would say. It was just so... I needed a win, and that was the win that I needed. She's my favorite housewife ever. I'm so loyal to her. Like, a lot of the housewives who I love have kind of disappointed me in recent years, like Lisa Vanderpump. But Carol,
what are you talking about, Josh? I love you, please, Nicolaine.
Yeah, no, she's gone on a disappointing path. So the fact that I can still love Carol, I feel like she's my number one. She's my number one housewife, and then like Katie Maloney is like my number one non-housewife. I still feel very loyal to both of them, and yeah, that was a really special moment. And just seeing her and Andy, seeing them. I know we knew they were good again from the People article.
Yeah, they made up last year, but we didn't really, we didn't know really much more than what was said on his radio show, I believe. And then to see Andy light up and call her Radzi, because they were friends for 10 years before before her being on Roni was even a thing. And it really did make you think about that last season of Roni, when she was just really mistreated, and Bethany Frankel, the Frankelnator, as I call her, really got her claws. It's like, and that's so true to life too. There are those friends that you get along with so well, and then they just all of a sudden decide they don't like you. And Bethany made Carol's life very hard on that last season, and really at the reunion. And I could see, we all saw Carol be so utterly dismayed. And that was also the season where Trump won on that election. Remember that election night?
Yes. Devastating.
No, I mean, but it's also when like Housewives and Vanderpump Rules do like a very, a special episode, a very like kind of back, what do they used to call them? Those, anyways, like those like special episodes on like sitcoms where what was like Vanderpump Rules did one.
The Pulse shoot.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was like Pride after the Pulse shooting, I believe. And I'm like, can these shows handle serious topics? And do you want somebody like Ramona being somebody that ushers in any sort of understanding on a topic that she necessarily doesn't understand?
Yeah, no, it was an interesting season. But I will say, since you mentioned Ramona, I always thought Carol and Ramona's dynamic was so interesting, and it really jumps out when I rewatch the show. Because even though, yeah, they fought about politics in the last couple seasons, but they had like an interesting friendship. I don't know. I think Carol is such an underrated housewife. I mean, I was actually really pleasantly surprised to see how positive of a reaction that appearance got. Like, I feel like social media really blew up in a way that it hasn't in a second with Bravo.
I think she was shocked too. Did you see how she seemed very ecstatic? And I love when we can love up somebody that meant something to us, and I don't think at all that we will see her on a reality show. But I love that she's in this universe still. Like, it's like
really
somebody
nice.
that graduated and she looked amazing.
And seemed like detached from the drama in a way that I thought was nice. It's always like a little bit sad when they make appearances years later and you could tell that they're still like holding on to a lot of things. But I thought it was funny when she said she like didn't even remember if her and Luann were on bad terms. That was funny. And it's like, I'm glad that she has been able to like move on from those things. Because I mean, obviously the Bethany thing with her was pretty serious falling out. But for the most part, I mean, she didn't have like heavy drama on the show.
Yeah. But that's what I want to believe. I was telling the audience today, I want to believe that people can forgive each other and that we can move on from trauma. And also I love that the seriousness in which we take the shows, she can't even remember if she's okay with Luann or not. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's and to be detached from Bravo is so unusual because we usually see housewives get off the show and then they try to crawl and scrape and tear their way back on the show where it becomes like a campaign. It's like you see it every season with every iteration of Housewives, which I want to talk to you about OC too, because I believe Tamra was on a full-on campaign and she got back on the show.
Yes. No, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice when they're able to move on with their lives. And as she's launching a Substack, she seems to be doing well. I'm very happy.
I signed up for her Substack last night. I was like, I got to support.
Are you a paid subscriber or a free subscriber?
Josh, listen. There's a lot of things happening. I want to be a paid subscriber, but I'm going to see how the free thing goes. I know I'm horrible.
I did the same thing. We're on the same page.
I feel so horrible, but I mean, it's like,
no, you're supporting.
Yeah, I want to support just with the number, and then we'll get there eventually. And it's. I only listen to audiobooks at this point, so I don't know if I can even read. So that made me happy. And then we just got, before we started talking tonight, I saw on TikTok that they released a little clip of the new season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City where Meredith Marks and Mary Cosby are fishing. And they're talking about killing a fish, and Mary Cosby doesn't realize the fish is dead and wants to see if she can resurrect the fish of some way. And I'm like, this is another shot of serotonin I need.
No, we needed Salt Lake City so badly. It's going to be so good. And I love Meredith. I love Mary. They're two of my favorites. So I'm glad that they were included in the clip. And I'm going to say this. It's not a prediction, but I'm manifesting. I really want the cast alliances to shift in a way that it's like Meredith, Mary, Bronwyn, Angie, Whitney, and then Heather and Lisa are kind of on the outs because they need to be humbled.
Dude, I could not agree more. But the thing is, Lisa has such a fortitude about her that she won't even realize she's on the outside. Like, and I think that's what I love Lisa, is when I could never imagine ever acting like Lisa or believing in myself the way Lisa believes in herself. But my God, I love her on that show, even though I always disagree with everything that she does.
No, I'm on the same page. She's never a housewife, which I'm not really that kind of fan anyway. I would never be like, they need to fire her, but I am like,
no,
I disagree with literally everything that ever comes out of her mouth. And I don't know how her brain works that way, but I think it should be donated to science one day.
It's just, they keep it in a glass container with Diet Coke, fermenting the brain, and any kind of 86-ounce thirst buster. So that, I think that's going to come out late September. What do you think?
I hope so. That would be great. I wanted to.
They're teasing it more and more, and then
it seems like soon.
They did that with OC, where all of a sudden they hit us with like, OC's going to premiere, and I couldn't. Like, what are you thinking about OC this season? Because we're only 4 episodes in.
I love
Honestly.
OC, and I know
Really?
that that's not. I don't know what it is about it, but it's like one of my favorite shows in the entire world. I think it's in the
This
last couple of
season.
years. I love it. I
This
think it's
season.
so good. Yes.
Whoa, you had a lot of credibility in my book until right now. Holy
A lot
Josh.
of people in my comments disagree with me too. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's one of the only Housewives shows that still has like an older leaning cast, and I love the old ladies fighting with each other. I don't know really what it is, but I think it's such a funny show. Even Tamara this season is not bothering me as much as she usually does. Like I'm just so every episode at least once I laugh out loud, and that's not the case for a lot of these shows.
Okay, well, now I'm very worried about you. And I do want to point out, this is funny. I don't usually go out of this little hole that I'm in right now, but I went out with Josh and Kate Riccio, who's amazing as well. Go check her out on TikTok, and I believe she has a podcast as well. And I want to get her on this show, and I'm just so bad at. I'm just bad at all of this, but we met up at the Old Pump. They turned this Old Pump into some other bar, and they were doing a Love Island watch party. And I came and met you guys. And this Josh, you guys, he's screaming out, "Yay, Huda! Huda!" And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he was very vocal and very in support of Huda. And I was like, what is going on here? And you're a big Nicolandria fan as well.
Alandria. I don't know. It took me a second to get to the Nicolandria thing. I love Alandria though, so I support her in whatever will make her happy. But Huda, yeah, the Huda thing started out as ironic, and then it just like kind of went in a weird direction where it wasn't ironic anymore. And then I was like mad at myself because I'm like, I'm gonna get myself canceled. Like I can't keep defending this lady, and it was really an internal struggle for me. But yes, that night I was feeling defensive of Huda at Roosterfish in West Hollywood.
That was it.
I
Yeah.
was quite loud about it.
I was so taken aback that I didn't realize. I mean, I knew I've been there so many times, but it just wasn't registering that I was in the Old Pump location. And Kate was like, "Yeah, there's the fucking tree that like the tree that Lisa was like, I've got to put a tree in here," and it was right there. And I was like, "This feels like it should be in the Smithsonian. This tree," and we're just like drinking. I was drinking water, but like we're all just drinking around this tree that we should be respecting because of the history.
Yeah, we should be, but I don't want to call out the establishment, but things were falling out of the tree. There was a leaf in my drink at one point, and I didn't love that.
The tree was like, shut this guy up about Huda.
Yeah, I needed to be shut up. I support that. I needed to be quieted.
No, it was actually hysterical. And there was nothing about. I was just shocked. I was still I'm still always on the fence about Huda. I mean, I think it's interesting. And don't worry, you guys, we'll talk about Bravo a lot more. But in just terms of studying celebrity, and, I feel like we've reached this point, and Love Island is like a perfect example of we've made these kids so famous so fast. And they all have skeletons in their closet, each and every one of them. And so then we act surprised when we find out these things. And I'm like, we've only known them for 5 weeks. And then they're on the outside and they do not have the gift of being edited anymore. So, and also they're all like in this quest for keeping whatever fame they have going. They're all hanging out, and it seems like disorganized and a mess. And what made the magic, I think, of Love Island is when they're they're together on the island. What is like, do you not obsess, but do you follow a lot of the goings on? Because, it seems like all 30 of these cast members are doing something new every day to try to keep that fame going. Do you keep up with all of that?
No, I mean, kind of last season I did after season 6 because I was just so obsessed with all of them.
Yeah.
This season, it was actually kind of by the end similar to a Valley situation where I was like, I need to disengage from these people for my own sanity. So I took a step back from following. I mean, it also just got ridiculous with like the Casa people posting on TikTok 24/7. I was hitting not interested a million times and they still were coming up. I'm like, how do I get rid of these people? I don't even remember their names.
Dude? Who was the one dude that was barely on that seems like he manages all the
Zach with the C.
Zach Woodworth or something like that. And he's
all over my TikTok.
And everybody in the comments are like, get a job, get a real job. And I that always cracks me up. And then you have the other dude, the black dude that's like, he's a really good looking guy, but he's like, hey guys, you like to see me eat? And he's taking trips now. I forgot what his name was, but I like that guy. But It is interesting that they're all trying to hang on to some sort of relevancy, even the ones that were in Casa. But like the Nicolandria, I mean, this is how sick it was. Like I was very against Nicolandria because I just don't believe you fall in love that quickly. I mean, Sierra leaves, and then I just loved that everybody was so intense about it. And I woke up out of a dead sleep at 3 a.m. and instead of doing something healthy, I got on TikTok and I was half asleep and I bought Nicolandria shirts.
Oh my God.
It was only $10, John, but with shipping that was like $15. But I feel so ashamed about this purchase, and I wasn't even drunk.
What came over you that you did that?
Do you ever do something where you're like, I don't know, it's just where I was like, oh, this will make me happy. Like this will be funny and make me happy. And then I was like, I can't wear this out. I don't know how to. I mean, not that anybody's looking to me for fashion, but I was like, this is, but then it made me happy in the moment.
Yeah, I support that. That's funny. I love that journey for you.
You guys, Josh is visibly scared right now, you guys.
I support it. I've made weirder purchases. I can't think of them right now, but
well, I mean, but in terms like Bravo, these people have been trying to get famous or famous over like the course of many, many years. These kids get famous for 5 weeks. What do you think that does to these people mentally? And especially because they have the wind of social media on their backs and they're able to use it in a way that older Bravo celebrities do not know how to use it. What do you think they go through?
I get it. I think, I mean, it's also weird when I remember that they are like my age because I perceive them to be much older than me, but they're literally not. Some of them are younger than me. So that is always kind of like a weird reminder for myself. But I mean, I get it. And I get why when something like that happens, you feel like you need to cling to it as much as you can. I don't really, I agree the comments are funny when they're like, get a job, but like, who wants to work? Like, why would you want a regular job if you could post silly TikToks and have your lifestyle funded by that? Like, I get it. And I think they all probably saw the season 6 success and wanted to replicate that. I don't think these people are going to have nearly as much longevity, but I definitely understand why that's the approach that they take. I do think Huda is an interesting one where she seems to be creating some scarcity with herself and not getting overexposed immediately. Like she's only doing some appearances and things that are like more impactful. She's not posting like a million TikToks 24/7. So it's interesting to see the different strategies that they use.
God, take that, Nick Viall. You couldn't get her.
Well, honestly, I do have to say, as somebody who has gotten a reputation for defending her, the Call Her Daddy interview made me like her less, and that was unfortunate. I did not appreciate that at all.
Do you think it was I didn't listen to it. Do you think it was a poorly done interview, or do you think she said too much, or
both? I don't think it was a poorly done interview. I think that it was, I guess you know more about this than I do because you do interviews and I don't really. But like, I feel like Alex Cooper, I think, framed all the questions in a way that were very much like, and this, I don't mean to like take away Huda's agency. Obviously, she could have answered them in a different way, but it felt like all the questions were framed in a way of like, you were the victim of the show. Everybody was wronging you. You did nothing wrong. And so that was kind of like the vibe of the entire interview. And I was like, no, Huda, like, this is not what we should be doing right now. Like, we should be not being humble. I mean, I don't think we need to humble women, but like, not have everything be like a victim mentality. And that was like very much the vibe. And I thought that was unfortunate. And I think it's both of their fault, in my opinion.
I mean, you bring up that idea of scarcity sometimes is the best thing when you get kind of skyrocketing fame, because if you're scarce, like you remain like an enigma, and that sometimes you are attracted to more. And sometimes if you get too much of somebody, you burn out really, really quickly. Shout out to my 5 times a day listeners, or 5 times a week listeners. Shout out. No burning out here. But you know what I'm saying? Like that scarcity, it leaves more to the imagination instead of just giving everybody everything that they want. But I just imagine mentally it has got to be such a thing to mess, like it's just got to mess with you when it's that quick.
No, definitely. I have a lot of empathy for all of them. I can't imagine it's an easy thing to be going through at the moment.
Do you think it's a mistake to wait so long for the reunion, which we'll be getting at the end of August, co-hosted by Ariana Madix and Andy Cohen? Do you think it's a mistake to wait this long?
Yeah, honestly. I don't know. I don't know if it's that's the reason. It just feels like this reunion is not going to have. I mean, it will get a million views and attention, and it will be a big deal. But I'm not nearly as excited as I was for it last year, and it does feel like, yeah, the like Casa people are hanging out a lot, and some of them are hanging out with each other a lot. But it doesn't seem. It seems like the like final people who are on the show the longest, they don't seem to be doing that much with each other anymore. Like, it seems like they're all kind of doing their own thing. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be kind of weird. And also, I didn't want, well, I don't know how I felt about the possibility of having Sierra there, but I do think that would have made it more interesting and more, would have made me more interested.
I was very curious which way they were going to go. And I think the obvious thing was they weren't going to have her, but I was still kind of holding out hope just because, not even for Sierra's answers, I wanted to see how they handled the conversation.
Yeah. No,
and
exactly.
To me, it's like, it's easy to ask what they ate for breakfast, or like, hey, did anybody fart in their sleep in the villa? Like, those are easy questions, but like, I'm really curious of what the dynamic will be between Ariana and Andy. Like, are they both like chairs right there, or is Ariana doing backstage? I want to know how that's going to work.
I'm curious. And I think that was the right move, just because I feel like, I don't know. I saw some people say, like, is it like kind of a demotion for Ariana that she was doing it alone and now she's doing it? But I don't think so. I think it was just a situation last year where, honestly, they shouldn't. I think they were asking a lot to expect her to do that by herself when she's never done it before. And I think we saw that in the way that it went, that they weren't always able to wrangle the cast as much as you would ideally have in a reunion. But I'm really curious to see how it goes. I think it's a good thing that Andy will be there, but I hope that Ariana still is like leading it. I hope that it's not a situation where he's like taking over and she's just like kind of there.
No, I mean, I think people don't give Andy enough credit where he can read usually a room. I mean, maybe sometimes not as much, but it'll just be funny if Ariana at one point's like, Andy, I got this one, hang back. Like I'm excited to see what that dynamic will be. In fact, I think I'm the most excited to watch them as opposed to the cast members. And then I almost kind of respect like Ace and Shelley more after the villa than on the villa, because they don't seem to be like trying to grab the attention as some of the other people have.
Yeah, no, I try not to be too, I mean, it felt like they wanted to kind of protect their peace and needed a second after, which I totally understand. But no, it's really interesting how they've all handled it differently. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm not particularly excited to see most of them at the reunion, honestly.
On your TikTok lives, you needed to do the way Ace came on his TikTok live, where it was like, he came back and everybody was like, oh my God, they're giving him galaxies right and left. And like,
yeah, I don't know how you get those.
I don't even know much about, I've never gone on live on TikTok, and I think you have, but it's just like so funny. Like, it's such a captive audience, and I'm fascinated with how that all works. So then recently, obviously, we dealt with, from season 6, Janae and Kenny breaking up, and there was so much rumor, so much speculation. And then we got fooled this weekend. Somebody made a prank thing saying Kenny was going to have a tell-all on YouTube. And I was talking on Monday's episode where I was like, I was even fooled by that. I was like, don't do this. But like, this kind of, it didn't surprise me just because everybody's such thirst monsters.
Yeah.
Watching Love Island Beyond the Villa, what is your reaction to Janae and Kenny on that show, which airs on Thursday nights? Were you surprised to see how this has ended up?
I was very surprised. And it's kind of a funny thing with like, Janae is somebody who I really loved on season 6, and I still love her. I'm like a huge fan of hers, but it's kind of a funny thing where sometimes like being a big fan of somebody can blind you in a way, because I think the narrative going into the season was like, I think Janae explicitly said like, they're making it look like we're having problems when we're not. And I believe that because I love her. And I think maybe she believed that at the time too, that the problems weren't real and that it was just editing making it look that way. And that's sad, obviously. But it's interesting. I was very surprised. I know a lot of people weren't, but I was literally shook. And I was sitting there because the news just kept rolling in. I was having to make a video every 20 minutes as something new happened. But I was very sad for her. But I think she's a very positive person. She will be fine. But it is sad. I really loved them as a couple on the show.
Do you think we as an audience deserve to know specifically what happened?
No, and I don't. I mean, well, I'm curious to see if they pick up cameras. If they pick up cameras, then yeah, they have to go into detail. if they are going to just let the season exist as it was, then no, I don't think we're owed more information than we have at this point. I mean, they've said enough that they said racist, whatever. We get
there was
vibe.
Undertones of what we allegedly were shared in these text messages of a clout chaser, race, all of this kind of really horrific stuff, which would be horrific to find out about your partner. But watching Beyond the Villa, you watch so many reality shows. Is this something that you think, oh, automatic season 2?
Because of the success, I'm sure, I mean, I don't know the streaming numbers for Beyond the Villa specifically. I'd imagine it's huge because everything with Love Island is. I think it will get a season 2. Do I think it should? I don't really know. I do think it's been like a weird, I think they need to restructure for season 2. I think it's been, and I know a lot of people said this even when they announced it, that the format doesn't really make that much sense. Like, this isn't where they're actually living. This isn't their actual lives. They're just kind of being dropped here. A lot of people said that it should be like a summer house situation or like a trip somewhere.
The quarantine season of Summer House, where you put them in a thing for
hold them
weeks.
hostage. Yeah, no, that would have been better. But I mean, I feel like they were trying to do it in a way that would be not that disruptive to their lot. Like obviously, they all have business they can be doing in LA. So I think there were probably, I think Janae said on the live that there were a bunch of different ideas about what they were going to do first, and this was just kind of what they landed on. I do think a different format would be better for a second season, and I think, I don't know, Aaron's really bringing down the vibes for me. He's making it like a whole different show where it's just like, I said on TikTok, it's like a psychological thriller. Like, he just seems so distraught and unhappy to be there. And it's just
you could
sad.
tell this guy's world got rocked, and he realized, all of a sudden he realized his own behavior that he, was exhibiting was actually caught on cameras, even though he knew he was on a reality show. And it seems like it really rocked him at a fundamental level. But you're right. Like, I do find it fascinating. It's not what I signed up for, but you're like, wow, this is like, and it also shows you the effects of reality TV on a younger cast. Because I feel like somebody like Jax, I mean, I hope everything works out and he gets better, but in a lot of ways, I will be like, well, that's a little bit of a lost cause.
Yeah. No, it's sad. And especially for somebody like Kate, like the Aaron stuff, I don't know. I don't really care that much about him. Somebody like Kaylor, seeing her talk about the way that like she likes her life better before and is kind of sad and doesn't really like any of this. Like, I perceived her to be somebody who really loved all the attention and loved like doing the brand deals and loved all of it. So I've been really surprised by how depressed some of the people on that show seem.
Well, and Leah is very vocal about like sometimes not digging production's moves. And I kind of like that. I'm like, you do have to stand up for yourself. You do have to, it's like Sheena, I think sometimes followed like whatever production wanted and it bit her in the ass multiple times. And so if you stand up for yourself in the beginning, you know that you can't be pushed around. But also I think that would make them more reticent to sign up for another season.
Yeah, I also think Leah is in a unique position where she was kind of bigger than the show in some ways. So I think she had more room to stand up for herself than somebody like an Aaron would. But yes, I agree.
What's your favorite reality star commercial right now?
Oh my God. I actually recently upgraded my Peacock to the one without ads. So I feel like I see them so much less. I don't even know.
You brought up Leah because I always like, this is my margarita mix. Leah has like a deeper voice, and I'm like, and then did you see the one on Britney's of like, I'm doing Tums, and I was like, I love when they do brand integration with Bravo celebrities and reality stars. It's just so silly to me. And I wish there was like a whole hour-long special of all the Bravo. I remember the weirdest one. I think it was Real Housewives of Atlanta. They did a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness one. And I think it was like Sheree Whitfield, like, and Doctor Strange had to like, oh, what's this weird circle? What's this weird interdimensional circle? And I was like, this is amazing.
No, I love them. I guess my favorite would still be from a few months ago with Katie and something about her with the Hellman's Mayo. That was a good one. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
What do you, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but listen, I'm geeking out right now. So we'll all geek out together. In terms of Katie Maloney, she has a successful podcast, Disrespectfully. I don't think she's in any rush to come back to reality, stardom. She has a boyfriend that they seem very much in love. What do you want to see from somebody like Katie Maloney? What should be her next move?
I think she deserves peace, and it's a hard balance where like I really love a reality star and I want them back on my screen, but she seems to be really happy right now and content, and I don't I'm not in a rush to have her back on my screen. I would love to see her do like Traders or something like that at some point, but I want her to be living her life. It seems like she has a fun life based on her Instagram stories. I want her to be happy and free from cameras for a moment.
You got to want to be in the game.
Yeah. And I think you could tell the last season, I don't think she really wanted to be there.
Well, it's like, whereas Sheena desperately wants to be in the game. Sheena is like, now Sheena sent you her book, and I was sent the book as well. And you actually went to an event and met Sheena, and you had a little trepidation about going. Why was that?
So the publishers sent me the book. And then I was invited to the book tour through the venue. So nothing actually happened through like Sheena's team. So I was kind of like, I never know. I don't want to like oversell how aware these people are of me, but I do meet a decent amount of them, and they do know who I am. And I'm always kind of
they all watch TikTok. They're just like us.
Yeah. So, and I've said not the nicest things about Sheena at times. So I was just like, I'd never want to be like the weirdo, because I don't love when content creators like insert themselves into drama. Like, I just like, that's not my vibe at all. I like never want to be like, even though, I guess I had the Heather Gay thing that one time, but for the most, I don't want confrontations with these people. Like, I like watching them on TV. I appreciate them for what they are from a distance largely, but like, I was kind of like, I don't know, do I go to this person's event who I like relatively frequently talk poorly about? But I decided I was going to. Then, yeah, I got there and found out there was a meet and greet. I didn't even know that. I thought I was just going to be sitting in the crowd. And I decided to go to the meet and greet. I was with a friend and she wanted to go. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go meet Sheena. And it was fine. I mean,
what did you say to Sheena when you met her?
I wasn't going to say anything. Well, I said to her, I was just going to like pretend like I'm just a civilian. I am a civilian, but you know what I mean. And I was just I just said like,
by the way, he put on like a fake mustache and glasses and an overcoat.
Yeah, exactly. I said something, she had said something during it was like a Chicks in the Office like interview that they did for the event. And I just said something about that I appreciate, because she took some kind of accountability for her treatment of Ariana, saying that Ariana's boundaries were valid. And I was just going to say like, I really appreciate that you said that. And then my friend that I was with like said something about my TikTok. And then I think Sheena's mom was sitting next to where the meet and greet was happening. And I believe the other person was her sister. I don't know that 100%, but I think that that's what was happening. And so my friend said something about my TikTok. Sheena asked what it is. And then I said it. And then Sheena's mom or sister, one of them, like searched it like right in front of me. And I had recently been making videos about Brock's affair and about how hypocritical Sheena and the other woman on that season's behavior was. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to see. So then I like, I don't know. I was like trying to say,
I made a quick video saying how awesome Sheena was.
I was trying to like really politely say like, I don't like side with you that often, but like appreciate that you said this thing. It was funny. I mean, she took it well, but so then they go on my account. And either the mom or sister saw that Katie follows me and said like out loud, like, oh, he's followed by Katie. And I was like, yeah, like I'm like a big Katie fan. And then it was funny. It wasn't like, I feel like it could have been really awkward, but at least outwardly she took it well. And she was like, oh, he doesn't even like me. Like, it was funny, I think. I hope Sheena doesn't hate me. But
no, it's really weird to be in those situations. And like, yeah, like I consider myself a normie and that gets to do weird things based on what I love. Yeah. But like I was one time on Jeff Lewis with Lala, and I was highly critical of Lala. And it was and she kind of called it out, which I was a little shocked about. But at the same time, I was like, listen, I just don't understand how you moved the way you moved in that last season, and especially at the reunion. And then it was teased like we would understand once we saw the reunion. The reunion came out. I still didn't understand, like from an audience's perspective. And like, for better or worse, I'm not good at playing the game. So I'll say, and also I try to be goofy to begin with. So some of it's just me trying to make myself laugh. And then she really, and I was not embarrassed in the moment, but I was highly uncomfortable. And I'm like, good for you for standing up for yourself. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that I don't understand how she moved in that last season.
No, that's interesting. I didn't know that happened, but I don't know. I said so much about if I ever. She's probably the person I've been most critical of. Tom Sandoval is more, but other than him, I've said more shit about her than anybody. So if I got invited to her event for anything, I would not be going because I would be scared of getting popped. But I do want to say, since the Sheena thing happened, I have been wondering a lot about her because Sheena now is saying all this stuff about like she felt like she needed to forgive Sandoval because she forgave Brock, and I'm kind of like, so what was the other one's excuse? She was just being evil for sport, I guess.
Well, I do think some of these people like get into their head that this is their job. They're here to bring it. And, I do think Lisa heavily encourages people to, soften or hook up or a lot of things that, we've seen Lisa try to do. And it's probably even worse behind the scenes. But it still doesn't. It just kind of had like queen shit vibes without earning it. And it really, like, I can almost read Sheena's book and now go back and watch certain scenes where I'm like, oh, this kind of reads differently because you had Brock going like, Ariana, forgive him, forgive. It's like, of course you want Ariana to forgive because you want Sheena to forgive you. Like, of course you're trying to put that. And it was like, he was guilty all along. So if you view it through that lens, and I'm not twisting myself in a pretzel to do this, it does seem like I would be heavily confused if I was Sheena. And the fact that I feel it's very common. In fact, I was reading something with Teddy Mellencamp today, was that she had found out her then husband, Edwin, was cheating on her with one of her good friends right before she was filming her 4th season. And they managed to keep that off the season. Like, these seasons, once they're like a little hip to the game, it's all about what they can kind of hide from the cameras. And I think that's the interesting, is that it's a 360 viewing experience where the audience, we've been burned so many times that we're always looking for some sort of conspiracy. And then this actually shows us that we're right.
Yeah, well, and even more looking for conspiracy, I did think, and I'm kind of curious to know how you felt about it. Like, I was taken aback by how so many people's response to the Brock affair thing was like that she was making it up for like book sales. I was like, I have no faith in Sheena. Like, I don't like that lady, to be honest. I don't know, whatever. I shouldn't say that. That's so mean.
You and Sheena are going to be buddies one day. I know it. I
hope so. She was honestly very pleasant, but no, she's not a favorite of mine. But I never doubt. Why would she make that up? Like, even if we're saying it in a not polite way, she likes protecting the men in her life from what we see on the show. I don't see why she would make this up. I don't think she was that desperate to sell books personally. And I was surprised by the reaction to that. And I was also surprised, and I think you'll agree, that about the things that she wrote about Lisa in the book, about all the manipulation and all that stuff. And so many people were like on Lisa's side. And I'm like, what? Like, the stuff that Sheena said in the book is so directly similar to everything that the Beverly Hills Housewives ever said about her, down to the like phone calls in the morning. Like, it's literally the exact same playbook. So I don't see, even as somebody who is very understanding of people's criticisms of Sheena, I really don't get how you cannot believe her in that situation.
And you guys, if you haven't read the book, what I found fascinating was what really Lisa was really butthurt about was that Sheena took a photo with Kyle Richards at an event. And then at the Vanderpump Rules premiere, Sheena tried to get a picture with Lisa. And Lisa was like, don't you want one with Kyle Richards? And I was like, Jesus God, Lisa, this is the 11th season premiere. Sheena's been with you since day one. Get over yourself. Wait, do you agree with me that I still think to this day Lisa Rinna was the one that did the Lucy apple juice with Radar Online, and it wasn't Lisa? I think Lisa learned Lisa Vanderpump's ways.
I think so. And especially after, I feel like that gets more proven over time every season that Lisa Rinna's not on the show, and there's infinitely less leaks about Beverly Hills than they were when she was on it. Like, she was definitely responsible for that. There's like no doubt in my mind.
You're so right. I find that really, actually, do you like the thought of Lisa Rinna being on this next season of The Traitors?
I'm excited for it, and I'm surprised that I'm excited for it because I really strongly disliked her when she was on Beverly Hills. But I mean, she's funny. I think she'll be funny on that show. I just think I think she'll be
great on The Traitors. Yeah. I just hated her by the end of Beverly Hills. But I'm like, I think in that dose. But you've got to be careful who you give power to in this like reality show sphere, because if you give Lisa a little bit of power, she's going to use it potentially in evil ways. So we've got to. I mean, I'm potentially hoping like 3 or 4 episodes and then she gets kicked off. A little bit of taste.
I think that's probably in her best interest if she wants to continue being a person that people, because I feel like she has had a nice little image rehabilitation a bit. Like people seem more positive towards her than they were when she left the show. I think people like think it's interesting what she's been doing with the like modeling stuff. I don't know. It feels like she has gotten a little bit PR benefit. And I think that, yeah, if she stays too long on Traitors, people are going to be reminded why they dislike her. But if she's just there for a bit, yeah, I think it'll be fun.
It'll be interesting to see how she gauges it. Like, will she go balls to the wall trying to impress the cameras and the audience, or will she kind of just filter in a little quieter like she did her first season of Beverly Hills?
And will the world explode when her and Dorinda interact?
Oh my God. If Dorinda gets kicked out first again, I am like, Dorinda will lose her mind. Like, they brought Dorinda back literally because she said she had bought so many expensive clothes that she didn't get to wear on last season of The Traitors.
I talked to a lot of people who say they want her to get out first again. And I'm like, you want this woman to never emotionally recover from the situation?
Yeah. We are such a toxic sometimes audience. We want mess. We want mess, and we don't even want mess on the show. We want it to affect them for a decade to come. Like we wanted them to like wear it like a scarlet letter that they got kicked out on The Traitors multiple times. And I feel like we as an audience, we don't even know how to consume media anymore because we have all of these different, like I said, the 360 viewing. Is that it's not, man, I got to tell you, the most brutal takedown of Brock that I saw was a great TikTok account, Bravo Bitch Fest, I think. And she does like impersonations, and I think she had like a filter, and she had the eyes, and she's like, hey, Sina. Like she does this great I can't do an Australian accent. And she was like, she was just a piece of meat that I was sticking myself into. Like it was so funny, you guys, where I was like, that one would have hurt me the most. That one, because it was so funny.
No, I could not take what these people go through at all from the internet. I have empathy for them in that very much.
Well, the internet comes for each and every one of us one day. It truly does. I mean, that's just how the internet seems to work. And so even when you get some sort of like ring of success, there will be 25% to 30% that will find every which way to possibly hate you that you can. And like, I used to think, no, everybody can like me. No, they can't. And they shouldn't. I guess it's just not healthy, but I don't know. But thinking about you and like, I so dig what you do, and I can see so many things in your future, which I'm just really trying to scare you at this point. But I saw a post of yours where you were talking about like kind of manifestations and your dreams and talking about your dreams. And I know that's not your normal thing because you're not a showy person at all. No. And in fact, that's why I try to encourage you as much, like go further. What are your, and I know that sounds silly, but what are your dreams and manifestations for the next couple of years?
Well, it's kind of a weird situation. Yeah. So the post I made recently was about like being an overachiever and trying to detach myself from that. And it's been a really weird balance of like trying to maintain being an ambitious person while also not driving myself insane and not letting myself have any peace. So I've been trying to get into writing. I would love to write something that's like memoir adjacent, but also about reality TV. I'm still kind of toying with ideas about what that looks like. Not that I think
my diary is an angry gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Evil gay. Sorry,
yeah.
Evil gay.
Yeah. No, I'm toying with things like that. I mean, people ask me all the time about podcasts. It's something that I'm like open to theoretically, not in a rush to do it.
Dude, I can see it. I can see it, and it'll be great when it happens. But shoot for the stars, man. Like it could be even more than podcasting. Like I think, the most important thing, and I'm not trying to sound like an asshole or like mansplain something to you, but like it's really just you've already found the voice. Now it's just like making that voice as clear as possible. And you're so good. I really take notes from you. Is that you're so direct in your TikTok videos, and you're not trying to be funny, but there's a natural charm and humor to you, but you always have laser-like bullet points of things that you want to, and even if I don't agree with you, you'll make me think of something where I'm like, well, that's an interesting way to think about it. And I love, that's the kind of healthy discourse that I like, where you're not offended or angry, you actually think about it.
Yeah, no, I really do try, and I definitely think at times I lose sight of this and maybe but I really do try to keep things toned down because especially TikTok, I feel like the discourse about a lot of these shows and especially Love Island this season was like so harsh and it's just not necessary. Like it's not that serious. It's a silly dating show. So I do my best to give direct and honest opinions, but also I never want to be mean. And that's a balance that I really do try to keep. Yeah. And that honestly, I mean, going back to the negative comments, I do get way less because I give opinions and take stances, but I'm never really trashing people other than the LA woman.
Wait, who's the LA woman?
On Vanderpump, I don't say her name.
Oh, okay. I got it. Yeah, the actual Voldemort, not Janet. Are you in a rush to get out of here, or you got a little more?
I am not.
Cool. A couple more things. Well, maybe more than a couple, but you had mentioned the OC season you're loving, but you also said, I don't want to be a part of a show. Like, I would hate if my content or something became like a central argument. And we have that a little bit on OC this season. I think the Bravo Babe was the account. I don't think it ever got named, but that was one of the first things where Tamra and her had gotten into it. But then Katie Janela also had reached out to the Bravo Babe. And then Katie Janela, I guess, with Kiki Monique, which I almost dropped out of my chair when I heard Kiki's name get brought up, because I was like, we're losing it, man. We're getting lost in the sauce. I do not want to see any form of me on these shows. And you feel the same, right? Or do you have a different take?
No, I'm not loving that part of the OC season. I think the Katie takedown attempt is unfortunate, but no, it's a little bit much with the creators.
Well, unfortunate, but do you also understand if she's out there reaching out to all of us? That's a little weird in its own right.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I don't think it's like
but
they all do it, and I don't think it's worse than what they all do to each other on that show specifically. Like they're all kind of evil. So I think to act like it's like more egregious than what Tamra does on a Tuesday is like a little bit funny. But no, I understand the criticism.
What do you think about the return of Gretchen Rossi?
I actually really disliked Gretchen I wasn't watching it live. I watched it a few years ago. I was like 7 when she was on the show, but
okay, Joe, it's good having you, buddy.
I just want to make it clear I wasn't there at the time. However, when I watched her seasons, I really did not care for her at all. But I actually think it's nice to have her back. I think she's kind of like light and fun in a way. What I remember the most about her from her original seasons is that I just always felt like she was like doing a bit in her confessionals, and I was like, can you just like speak, like stop? And I don't feel like she's done that too much this season. I'm actually enjoying having her back, and I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I kind of like her back so far. I mean, they're using her minimally, but when she does pop in, she adds something, and she does seem to have like the roadmap to taking down Tamra in some way. Or actually just pointing out she's been doing this consistently since I was on the show. And I think that's an important fact that all of these Orange County underlings seem to forget. Like, I don't know why Emily and Gina seem to always fall in line with Tamra. Like, she must be just so powerful in person. But I love that Gretchen is there to be like, dude, she has been doing this. It's the same playbook time in, and I don't think Tamra will ever get fully taken down. But I do think I think Tamra knows she has a bag of tricks.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think she'll ever be taken down either. I think that she's just like so evil at this point that it's like something like last season would have been like career ending for most people on reality TV with how evil she was to Shannon. But I feel like we're just so desensitized to Tamra being evil that it's like, yeah, that's just her.
Well, that's why I like Shannon, because even if you disagree with how Shannon moves, Shannon legitimately, you feel like you're watching somebody live an actual life on screen, and she's always like, what, you recorded me? What, I'm like, yeah, you're on a show where people are fucking evil. Or like Heather and Tamra last season just really being very shitty in regards to John Jansen and Alexis and being friends with them. And she's like, it's just like she's always being torn apart and you believe it. Whereas Tamra, I almost feel like she's playing a character at times. Or Heather, like, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? And she'll just do this Heather Dubrow bit where I'm like, yeah, I get it. You wipe your ass with like $100 bills. I get it. But I don't sense the fully real person that I know she probably is in real life on the show.
I agree. I think it's kind of weird because The first couple seasons, I love Heather. I'm like, she's my favorite on the show. I think she's great. But the
You're
first
insane.
couple,
You think she's your favorite this season and last season? Are you kidding
well, no,
me?
she was awful last season, but she's like generally my favorite OC housewife. Yeah. But the first couple seasons she was back, I felt like they did a really good job of like humanizing her with the stuff with her kids. And then it feels like they were like, never mind, every scene is her like in a $10 million house. And I'm not mad at it because the show needs the wealth, but it is kind of interesting that they've fallen back into that being her thing.
I sometimes wonder if the show does need the wealth, because when they do this like $1 million listing, guest casting coming on with Josh Altman and stuff like that, I'm like, this is so stagey bit thing where I don't really, I don't think of it as some sort of like wealth where I'm like, wow, like Shamia on Real Housewives of Atlanta, that impressed me. I did not know she was dealing with that sort of wealth with that birthday party or that party at the beginning of this season of Atlanta. But like Heather, but I will say, the kids thing, generally speaking, I think most people we've seen have really interesting, amazing relationships with their kids. Have we seen a housewife be completely out of pocket on camera to their kids?
I feel like most of them leave that for off camera.
I mean, we hear rumblings with Tamra from other people about the one daughter she doesn't really have a relationship with, but we don't see it on camera. It would be just amazing if somebody was like, I think Emily hits her kids. Like, we don't see it. Like, they're all really good parents, it seems like.
Yeah, I think so. And that's nice. And I feel like that does kind of bond them all in a way, which is nice. I'm like, were the OG Ronies nice to their kids? But they were. Ramona and Avery.
Remember Ramona and Avery? She was like, "Oh my God, you got your little boobies! Oh my God, you look."
She was embarrassing, but she wasn't malicious. Okay, actually,
oh no,
let's talk about malicious.
I thought that was like so cute. It was so cute.
Oh, the real answer to this question is that Jill Zarin sent her daughter to a fat camp on national television. So.
Surprise! Oh my God, I forgot about it. There's so many moments that I forget about. Like, I think I told you that I went back and watched, was it season 2 or season 3 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after I felt the valley was too dark. And I watched that season and I was like, oh, I was mistaken. This season was the darkest, and that season took place 13 years ago, because you had like the Kim and the drugs and Brandy and Lisa. It was just so insane that I was like, obviously these shows haven't changed as much as we've changed.
Yeah, no, those early seasons of Beverly Hills are crazy.
But my God, they're so highly viewable even to this day.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing television. And it's so sad that, I don't know, so it's sad that like Taylor, when they tried to bring her back to OC, didn't really work out, because it's like, yeah, most of those people we have not seen in so long, but it was a moment in time, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I still would, even however I feel about Lisa Vanderpump, I still would love to see her and Kyle on camera together. I would love to see. I feel like Lisa has it so easy on camera because she kind of rules the roost with Vanderpump Rules or Vanderpump Villa. And I would love to see Lisa actually questioned, or even in terms of like ending the season with Vanderpump Rules, I would have loved to have seen Sheena come at Lisa on camera.
Yeah, I get why it doesn't happen, but I would like to see it as well. But I think that's why Lisa has no interest in going back to Housewives, because she knows she would have to be challenged, and she's very comfortable in her throne where no one can say anything to her.
So NextGen NYC, really quickly, I thought it was a good building block season, even though I don't know what necessarily we would build to, but I think there's something there. What did you think?
I think so too. I was not expecting to like it. It was for the summer house. It was like a Bravo event that they did. I paid for a ticket. I didn't get invited, but I went. And it was for the summer house finale, and they played a preview of NextGen NYC, and it was so bad. Like, I don't know why they picked the clip that they did, but it looked like literally awful. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst show to ever exist. So my expectations were incredibly low. And then I actually really liked it. And I am like a little bit, I feel like, more inclined to like it than the average person, because they're in my age range. I like live in, well, I don't live in the city at the moment, but yeah, I'm from around the city area. I've lived in the city before. So it was interesting to me. I really liked Ariana in a way that I wasn't expecting to, because Kim Zolciak is one of my least favorite housewives ever. And I was actually really upset that they were bringing that family back to reality TV. But now I'm glad that they did, because she was great. I thought that Riley was great, which I expected. I really liked Amira on that show. I actually liked most of the cast, honestly. Charlie was the only one who I wasn't vibing with, but that might just be my man. But
Charlie's an interesting character where,
yes,
him like screaming about a speaker and like lonely, like, skateboarding around the city was like funny and dark. I don't know, like the relationship with his parents. I'm curious if he will agree to come back for another season, because I think it's guaranteed another season at this point. But what is so interesting, and I can't wrap fully my brain around, was that I was watching Watch What Happens. It was last week with Seth Marks, Amira, and Gia. Did you watch that? Watch What Happens live?
No, I saw clips, but I did not watch the full episode.
It was like watching paint dry. I was like, holy shit. Like, they really have to edit. Like, they have to edit jokes into Brooke because Brooks doesn't really speak tons. And I appreciate that. You can kind of last a little bit just being a very kind of like, well, he seems like a nice kid and, but he doesn't really talk a lot. He doesn't want to really get into but I wonder how far that can go. And Gia is so, I want to say well poised, but it's not even that. It's just, she has I don't know, it feels like ChatGPT talking to you in a sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought Gia was going to have much more of a presence on the show than she did. And it wasn't just the fact that she was in New Jersey. Like, even when she was in the scene, she didn't do that much a lot of the time, which I was surprised by. But she talked about, I can't remember if it was on Watch What Happens Live or if it was in an interview, talking about how she feels like from New Jersey, she got used to having to like kind of like protect people and like act like a mom in a way, and how she recognizes that that's not how she should be on this show. So hopefully she changes course for a second season, because I did not care for her at all on this show. And Brooks, I think the editing was a little bit much for me. Like, when I'm trying to hear what these people are fighting about, the fights are the best part of the show, and they're like putting in the like voices
they have like a Meredith thought bubble, like, yeah, disengage. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
and I love Meredith, but stop.
And then, my favorite moment of the season was Seth was like, yeah, I want to be pansexual. That's what I'm working up to. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. It is interesting to think about how reality, like, I would love to have known the Marks 10 years ago in real life. Like, I would love to know what their day-to-day looked like, because I think, this kind of visibility really does a number on families and people. And I'm so curious what they're going to look like 5 years from now. But the NextGen NYC, obviously really good building blocks. I think they're doing a NextGen LA as well, or that's the rumor, which I'm down for. Whatever.
I hope so.
Whatever keeps people, engaged in a sense. I asked you to do something earlier today where I wanted to talk about tropes. And tropes, you guys, if you don't know, tropes are just something that you see, like, it's something that you see all the time, a repeated thing where it's so standardized and it could potentially be a little annoying, where, it's like tagline tropes. Like, you're always going to have somebody saying that they're wealthier. You're always going to have Kyle saying, like, I built this city, like, that's a trope. It's something that we've come to expect. And I wanted to know what your favorite tropes are on Bravo and some of your least favorite ones.
Yes. Should I start with favorite or least favorite?
Let's start with favorite.
Okay. This is so important to me personally. And they haven't done it in so long, and I think they need to bring it back, is when like the girls would go to like a fortune teller or a psychic, and they would deliver a message that was very clearly told to them to deliver, and it's like either storyline altering or life altering, like the psychic in the cancer season of Orange County who reveals that Brooks didn't actually have cancer, or in New York when the fortune teller in Morocco tells Ramona that there's another woman with her husband, and that was shocking. And I feel like we haven't gotten a moment like that in a long time, where
would you consider Allison Dubois in Beverly Hills one of those?
Yeah, that was a great scene.
He'll never
as
emotionally
well.
fulfill you.
No, that's a great call. Yeah,
I love that, because I'm so tired. Like, like the tropes, like rage rooms and like all of these things, that murder mystery things we see over and over again. But you're right; those scenes are usually dead on. That one should be instituted immediately. In fact,
we need
put Allison Dubois on this next season of Beverly Hills in some fashion, because it would be great to see a face-to-face with Kyle and Allison now that her and Mauricio have separated.
I fully agree. I would love that. My next one is, and this came up on Beyond the Villa recently. This is something that I've grown to appreciate, is when they show like a confessional and the producer will ask them something and the person like won't answer the question. Liv on Beyond the Villa did it when they were asking her about some situation that happened with the guy that she was seeing, and she very not, I don't want to say aggressive, but bluntly said, I'm not talking about that. And I think I hated it for a while because I was like, why are we wasting airtime on this? But now I love seeing like who's being evasive, who's not letting the audience know what's really going on. And with Liv, I was disappointed in that because I was like, Liv, you put yourself on a show. You used, I don't even remember the situation that deeply, but she used the situation with the guy as a point in an argument, but then wouldn't give us the details. And I was like, Liv, if you're going to bring it up, girl, you got to tell us what happened with the man. So I've come to enjoy that.
So you like that they included her saying, I'm not going to talk about it?
Yes.
Do you ever want to see, like, in terms of Teen Mom was really good at this in later seasons where the producers became kind of characters on the show. Would you ever want it to get that way on any of these shows where, you know, Jeremiah on the Valley, producer Jeremiah, it's like, Jeremiah, come on out here. Like, would you ever want it to see it go that far?
No, I don't think so. I think I like when I think we can acknowledge that the producers exist, and I like that they've moved more in the direction of breaking the fourth wall to an extent, but I don't need to hear from the producers, I don't think. And then my last one, this has actually come up a lot with Sheena, and it's an off-screen thing, but I want every Bravo celebrity to write a book. I think it's so fun. I know Dorit is doing one now. I know people are like, they need to stop writing. No, I don't want them to stop writing books, even though even the worst ones, we still get like a little bit of information. So I hope every Bravo celebrity has a book by the end of time.
Well, they all got to step it up at this point after Sheena's revelation. They got to save something really, like Kyle's got to write one and at the very end going, yeah, I did fuck Morgan Wade. Like, isn't that just one sentence at the very end? And it would be like, it would already be a bestseller, but it would be huge if that just one sentence drop and then that's it. Like, I'm curious what Dorit's is going to be like, because Dorit is still, there's a lot of mystery about Dorit.
Yeah, I will say, and this is like kind of shady of me, but when at the event for Sheena's book, Sheena said that her book sold before she told the publishers that the Brock thing was going to be included. So, and I thought that was interesting because they thought that she deserved a book deal even without knowing that there was going to be a big revelation in it. Dorit's, though, is not at as big of a publishing company as a lot of these books are. It's at a relatively small, like Sheena's was with
I know this
Grand Central, which is an offshoot of Hachette. I want to say
Hachette, yeah.
And most of them are through one of the big five publishers, but Dorit's isn't, which makes me a little bit scared that like it's going to be boring, and that's why none of the big five publishers wanted it.
I will say the title was underwhelming. The title, it was I was talking about this on Monday, it was a little bland for my like. I was like, and it was, Sophie on Monday's episode pointed out Carl's upcoming book, Carl Radke's, his is called Cake Eater. And I just felt like was so confused by the title. I was like, this makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, I will give credit to Sheena. Her title was good, I thought.
And yeah, I agree though. These books, and you feel like you're Einstein after you read it because they're quick reads. You can get through it it's super. I read it in like a couple hours, you guys. And I think I've always said this, Bravo needs to go further and have their own book imprint and institute what you said. Like two people from every season have to write a book every year or something.
Yeah, no, I feel like we're getting a lot this year, but the last couple we didn't because, we still have the Carl one. We still have Patricia from Southern Charm has one coming out this year. And I think there's even one more than that. So yeah, we're getting a decent amount, but I want more. Give me all of the books. And yeah, they're great for hitting your reading goals because they are so teeny. So it's mutually beneficial in a lot
I do keep track of the books I read and the books I listen to. And I was just like, wow, I read a book in a day. I was so proud of myself.
It's so nice.
So those are three things that you love, the tropes that you love. What are the tropes that you do not like?
I We'll say for the first one, and this is something I talk on TikTok a decent amount, the use of the word mean girls in conflict on reality TV, I'm just like so bored. It's anytime there is a group of women who agree on something or stand up for themselves or have an opinion about anything. And on some level, I'm like, I do love the bitchy women on the shows. So I like try to be like, maybe I am the problem and maybe they are mean girls sometimes. But in general, like Paige, Sierra, and Amanda got that label a lot. And I just really don't see it that way. I don't think that that is an accurate label for them at all.
But you're talking about when the show itself,
either
in the show, they call themselves, they're like, you're a mean girl, you're a mean girl. Are you talking about
or the fans? Both. I think they're equally annoying. I think, yeah, on the show, Paige, Sierra, and Amanda didn't get it as much on the actual show, but also, I guess, also like in the press, I feel like Lexi didn't say it directly, but she basically did in her interviews. So yeah, all of the above. I just think it's so annoying and so overused. And my other one is a similar thing, which is the use of the word bullying, that I just don't think there's a real, in very specific circumstances, but largely if I'm watching like a housewife show and there's an argument happening and somebody says that they're being bullied, that's like a very quick way for me to be like, I'm not on your side anymore. That's really annoying. Like, that's just like, it's not applicable. It's so, conflict has to happen on these shows. You honestly have to be kind of mean on these shows to be good at them. Like, it's just the nature of them. And I don't think it's like a realistic standard to hold people to.
Well, I get annoyed similarly, but what makes me annoyed when they start using those terms on the shows is that it makes me believe that they're reading all the discourse about the shows. And that's what's upsetting to me. Like, and I feel like Tamra does this on OC. I've caught her a couple times where she, I feel, is using jokes about castmates that I've seen on social media first, where I'm like, oh, you just tell she pays attention to social media. And sometimes I don't want that. I don't want cast members to get their arguments and I don't want to say from other people's work, but like, I don't want ideas being taken from other people and thrown on the shows.
No, I agree. And it's kind of funny because I agree that Tamara does that. And because I used to listen to her and Teddy's podcast very frequently. And that was like a very common thing that they criticized other housewives for. Like, I remember them always talking about Sutton specifically, saying that she is like so online and is always like basing her behavior on the show off of what the internet says. And I'm like, Tamara does that more than most people.
I mean, Tamara really is. I always call it like taking performance enhancing drugs, is that she does a podcast where she studies other housewives on top of being a housewife. It's like cheating on a test. Like you are talking about the maneuvers of all of these people. That is not, there's no way that's not going to seep into your quote unquote performance.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that, and I know maybe this is something you'll agree with since I'm being a little bit critical of this season. It's unfortunate that I think the other people on the cast let her like kind of have free reign over controlling all the storylines, and that's what we're seeing. And that's what I said, Tamara's not bothering me as much this season. I still don't like her, but everything that's happening is because of Tamara, and I wish that the other people on the show would kind of pick up some of the slack so that Tamara wasn't able to completely pull the strings and have everything go exactly how she wants it to, which is what's happening this season so far.
I feel very accomplished that I feel like I've changed your opinion on OC where you might dislike it a little bit now. Like, I feel like very accomplished right now.
I still think it's the funniest. Salt Lake City is the funniest.
No,
it's one of the funnier shows on the network.
Currently airing, Miami is the funniest show. I don't think you watch fair. Miami.
No, I do. I'm not. I didn't watch last week. Well, okay, I'm disappointed in Miami because I feel like they're cutting Adriana's screen time, but I know she got more in the last episode.
Dude, Adriana, like, they really... Like, I don't know if production just doesn't like Adriana or something, but like, she's been with Miami in the initial iteration and she was great then. And she's so fucking flippin' funny. I don't understand it myself. Cause she's always says something that I think nails it, or she does kooky behavior. And I think those are all the things that you look for in a housewife. Like, give her the ball more.
And I don't see I don't know what the holdup is in giving her more screen time, but I'm actually going to turn the interview back to you because I want to know what you think of Stephanie, the new Miami housewife.
I think she's like that classic example of, oh my God, I'm so excited you're here because I think you've got a lot of skeletons in your closet. And this is like the perfect example of a housewife. They all, like, if they have a huge ego, great, you're here, but that huge ego also makes you think that you're not going to fall into the same potholes that every other housewife that has come before you. And I think you're going to find out like financial shit. I think you're going to find out like relationship stuff. I think she's got a lot of stuff. And she comes in with like, if you come in and you're taking an hour-long private jet to get your dog, and, you know, like already you're showing us that extreme wealth that bit Erica Jane in the ass and so many others that came before her, Teresa, all of these things. And I love it because I'm like, oh, we're not potentially going to see it full bloom right now, but next season, I feel like we'll have an explosion around her and it's going to take her down a peg. And so that is I've only known her now for a couple of episodes, but that's the vibe I get. And when you are, like she's talking about gutting her husband's house. I know he lived there with another girl, but like a full gut. There's like, it does make you think in this day and age, like, dude, so many people are starving. Like, are you like, this is idiot. Like, I love wealth and, you know, not celebrating it, but showing it on these shows. But sometimes it gets a little murky. And I keep just going back to Erica Jane and Tom Girardi because we found out most of that shit was stolen.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. I also kind of feel like she's like, I don't know if she was a Housewives fan, but yeah, kind of like playing a Heather Dubrow in a way. And like, especially, not that I don't believe that that's really how she dresses, but with the Jackie Kennedy aesthetic that it's just like, she's curating a vibe.
And if you see older pictures of her, it's what a glow up. And I think that's, yeah, it'll be great. But playing a character, I think the person who did that the worst, in my opinion, was Jen Shaw. The first season of Salt Lake, where I felt like she had crammed all the seasons of Housewives, and she tried to do a little something from every iconic housewife. And to me, it was too much. I was so thrilled when Jen was off the show because I felt like she stole focus.
I'm so glad to hear that because sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy. I didn't even really care for the show at all until she was gone. I think it got a million times better. And I know people say they love the first few seasons. I really don't because, I think she's completely unwatchable. And I will never understand, both ethically and from an entertainment perspective, the people who think that she should come back when she's out of the clink. I don't agree at all.
I can see that it's an easy road for the producers at some point. I don't think it's the right road, but I think that it will definitely happen at some point.
If they do like a sit down with her, I won't be mad. But if she has like a snowflake, I will roll my eyes very heavily and complain on the internet.
And I don't think she'll be able, unless her ego has been truly bruised, which I don't even know if that's happened in prison because I'm still seeing paparazzi photos of her, for the love of God. But we wouldn't have gotten to know Angie Katsunavis the way we have these last two seasons if Jen was still there. Like, they were all like, I don't like those housewives where everybody has to kiss their ass. That's the same thing with, I feel like, Tamara to a lesser degree. When people feel like the need to like kowtow to one person, it doesn't share the wealth. And Salt Lake, you've got at this point, I've even turned a corner on Mary Cosby, for the love of God.
No, it's a perfect show. It's such a good cast. I'm so glad. It's the only thing that I think that ever has similar energy to me as like Roni at its peak. It's just like so good. They're so goofy, and I love them so much. And I'm so glad that they're coming back soon.
I said on the show the other week, I'm putting too much pressure on this show to change my life again.
It will. It will deliver. Because
I will say, like, at the tail end, like right now where I'm at in the Valley, I know I have to do a recap tomorrow and I'm already dreading it because it's just like, I can't keep screaming that I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how this is happening. I don't understand. Like, it's such a weird group of people that you followed some of them for so long and you're like, it's sad. And I don't necessarily think it's ever super funny. And, so it's weird. Is there any other tropes that you dislike?
I was actually gonna say, and maybe you'll disagree, I was gonna bring up the Katie stuff a bit this season on OC, and like the idea that it's inherently bad for Bravo celebrities to be in communication with like content creators or bloggers. Obviously, there's a way to be tactful about it and a way to not go too far, and it seems like Katie crossed some of those lines. But it's just like silly to me when they act like they're like, she was talking to bloggers, and it's like, okay, they all are.
They all do.
Yeah.
Well, no, I want to clarify too. What I think is bad is that it's used as a storyline.
Yeah.
What I would from a production level, I would not even want that entertained as a storyline. Like, because I do believe they all do. I will say I am I am a little offended, or maybe I don't open a lot of DMs. Maybe there's a lot of DMs from housewives asking me to post like positive or negative stories. I think I'm sore that nobody's asked me to like post something, you know? Have you been approached? You probably have.
Not to post it. I think most of them, and that's I think where Katie seems to have made some errors. It's usually not that explicit. It's usually like they'll just like become buddy with you in the and I'm not saying everybody that I mean, some of them I think are genuinely nice, and I hope they're genuinely nice. But when people like follow me and engage with my posts, I'm like, yeah, they don't want me to talk shit about them. I get it. But I've never had an experience where somebody's like, please say this thing for me. It's more so just like they'll be friendly with you and probably have ulterior motives for doing that.
I also, and I don't know, like the thing is, if I do get engaged with any Bravo celebrity, I never am like, hey, tell me what happened this past season. Like, I don't do that. So, like, I think sometimes when they engage, the other people will ask questions. Like, they're naturally curious, and I want to try to stay away. It's so funny. Nia from the Valley followed me a couple weeks ago. Just check last week. She unfollowed. So, within
Did you say something bad about her?
I think no, I like Nia a lot, but like, I don't like, I'm saying like a very Christian woman, if for some reason, like, I'm sure there is something that I do that offends everybody. And if for some reason you would ever listen to a Valley recap, I mean, like Jax Taylor at one point reached out to me, was like, rough stuff. And I'm like, no,
oh my God,
don't listen. But I was bummed about the Nia thing, but I also understand it. Like, yeah, like you shouldn't be following me to begin with. Like, I want to be able to say my honest opinion. The one trope I hate as we start winding down, I know I've kept you for so long, so thank you, is I want them to stop doing, I'm okay with flashbacks, but I don't want it feels like it's becoming over the last couple of years of like, you remember that one time we had fish earlier this season, a fish dinner, and then they'll show us like, 7 episodes before where they're eating fish. We are smart enough where I can visually remember when they ate fish. And by the time you get to like the end of a season of Southern Charm, I swear to God, you'll get flashbacks on flashbacks on flashbacks on flashbacks. And I just feel like I just can't tell if they don't have enough content or they just think we're just like rock bottom of the barrel idiots. I want to move past that at some point.
I can see that. The thing that honestly bothered me even more than that, well, it's the same, still flashbacks, but with Southern Charm specifically, that they started doing the thing last season where like every time there was a woman in the room, it was just shown in a flash. Like there were all these events where the girls got together and did things, and we never saw them in actual scenes, but they would show like a little flashback from it. And it was like, we literally never saw that. Like, what are you flashing back to?
Or it'd be like, yeah, that one conversation we had on your bed. And then they'll show us the conversation, which is like 4 sentences of actually like a decent little plot point, but we have no idea what the rest of that scenario is, which is obviously, it's not a stage scene, but it's something that they came to get, a little bit of footage. I would love to know how these things are truly edited. And the other bone I have to pick sometimes, and I don't know, like it's the trope of when it's a really overpowering music and quick editing, you're potentially in for a very shitty episode. If they crank the music volume up, well, Love Island did this, but they did it rather successfully in a sense where they will overpower you with every song you've ever heard in your life. And it's at such a level where you really truly think you are watching the end of Titanic. Like that's like how, cause they were like, oh my God, they've got that like really sad Billie Eilish song. This is insane. And you realize how led you are by editing and music, and you fall trapped to it a lot of the times. And I always wonder, what would it like to watch a Love Island episode without any music?
Yeah, probably boring, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, they spend the big bucks for that show. It's crazy how many current pop songs they get for that. The music budget has to be one of the higher, one of the things they spend the most money on for that show. But I love it.
I think I told you I want to do an episode or like an edit where we just take like 90s rock songs and instead of like, and just like edit that to like pour some sugar on me, or it's just like Bon Jovi night on Love Island or something. It's a horrible idea, you guys. Okay. This is what you do. You know Josh, but if you don't know Josh, you're going to follow him on TikTok, and you're going to also follow him on Instagram. We want to support on all of the different outlets. What are the other things that you're on? What are the... Those are the two big ones.
That's all I care to. Yeah, Instagram has been something I've been really trying to be more consistent with. I've been cross-posting recently. For a while there I wasn't, but I got onto it. I tried YouTube. I don't feel the vibes. I'm only doing what speaks to me.
Yeah,
so yeah,
it's
TikTok, Instagram.
We don't put the full show on YouTube, but we'll put this interviews and stuff. And I still like Maritza, who I work with. She does all of that stuff, and I'm not. It's like weird. Like I used to love Instagram with a passion, and I just don't feel the same passion for it anymore. And I love watching TikTok, but I don't love making them. So
you've been so good with it, though.
Yeah,
you got a post about Carol up before I did, and I pride myself on being very quick to these things. And yours was already up, I think.
I was. I went to the bathroom immediately. I was like, I gotta record this. And but you know what's so funny? I woke up today and I got a violation for that.
Saying
I reused, and I'm like, this is my own photo. What are you talking about? And then they removed the violation. But then I was like, I don't know the rules and the ins and outs like that. Like, so I can't post, like if I post a Housewives scene or a clip, I get a violation for that. I got a violation for posting my own podcast, and I had to appeal it saying this is my own content, and then they removed it. So I don't understand how that all works. You're good because you'll have the photos and then you'll just talk over them usually.
I still get violations. I actually, the last couple months somehow have resolved it that I don't get them that much, but for over a year, every single video I would post would get a violation, and I had to go through the appeal process, and it would always get appealed successfully, but it's just something on their back end that is not right.
Are you still doing the I saw that this was months ago. You were trying to do the mukbangs.
I filmed
you were eating in front of the camera, and you're like, I'm gonna try this. And it was like, I'm trying to lose weight, but if I wasn't, I think I could kill a mukbang. Like, I think
you can do one with healthy food. I mean, there's an audience for that.
Who wants to watch me eat broccoli like that? And whoever did want to watch me eat broccoli, I would be so worried about that audience.
I see healthy food ones. That's a thing that exists. I don't know about just broccoli. Maybe they'll make it look pretty and have more colors in it, but I do see those. No, I tried it twice, and I was like, I don't want to draw that much attention to my face. It's actually okay.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even watch myself eat. I just can't imagine these people that are showing their full lives or even an edited down. That's why reality stars, that's why they're superheroes to a degree. But I'm telling you, this guy I believe in so sincerely. So if you don't follow him, throw him a follow. And that way he'll come back on the show again before he has his own successful show. But you did this last minute too. So I really, really appreciate it. You spent so much time with us. So thanks, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course. Happy to.
Okay.